Yeah, so it's been a couple of weeks since I've been doing a live, since I came on live. I have been up to stuff. Yeah, we have Science with Miss Steph in person. That's one of the things that I've been up to. We have our Saturday program, which, by the way, we will be doing a variation of this activity tomorrow. But for my science friends that are out there in the world who can't join us in person, I thought that I would show you how to do this because it seemed to be kind of interesting to folks on Instagram. So I thought that I would come on pretty quickly. Y'all know I can be chatty, but I'm going to try to do this pretty quickly. And I have a new kind of setup. I'm working some things out. So, anyways, welcome to Science with Ms. Steph. You are going to need some type of tray or plate, something that's plastic or metal. I would not do this with a paper tray, but try plastic or metal. Or if I'm really thinking like a true engineer, okay, or a scientist, someone who can think of uh, alternate ways to do things, you could use a paper plate, but put some type of plastic or foil on top of it. But to be honest, this is the thing that's going to work the best. All right, cool. You're also going to need some water and preferably a pipette. If you have an adult family member that can help you out, you can actually use like a turkey baster for this if you want to try that. But you just want a cup of water, and the water can be any safe temperature for you. It doesn't need to be hot or cold or anything like that, but just regular tap water. All right. You're also going to need some different food colorings. You will need multiple. I suggest to have at least 3. If we wanted to specifically do rainbow colors for our rainbow coffee filters, you can do the Roy G. Biv, right? Red, orange, yellow, okay? Right? You could do those colors, or like what I've done, some colors that I know are what I call like compound or tertiary colors, right? So this is secondary color, but colors that you know are mixes of other colors make this really fun. And notice I have 5. I'm going to just put those there. And coffee filters, more than one. I suggest between 3 and 5 coffee filters that are going to be stacked on top of each other. You should also have some paper towel. This is an option, okay? If you want to try this activity, but you might not have coffee filters, or your adult family member is saying you're not going to use my coffee filters for that, you can try and use paper towel. All right. So I'm going to show you on the paper towel first. Okay. Oh, one other thing that you might want to have, so that you have somewhere or something for this to dry on top of, you can grab this is regular just printer paper. All right. I wouldn't use lined paper because lined paper has its own pigment, and the pigment a lot of times is water soluble to a degree, and so it will spread. We don't want that. We don't want the paper offering up any pigment. Kapoosh? Kaposh, right? So you could try this. So anyways, like I said, I'm going to do a little tester, a little demo on the paper towel first. You notice that this is a part of the paper towel. This is one of the paper towels where you can do like select a size, right? Once again, this is Ms. Steph here for a quick little Science with Ms. Steph pop-up. And we are doing something called rainbow coffee filters. And it was interesting and exciting to folks on Instagram. So that's why I'm doing this with you all now. Let me turn off my notifications, honey. Because you talk about something that messes up a video. My last video, I went live and you can hear the all that. So I'm putting this down. This is here so as to protect whatever surface you're working on, okay? I am not going to use all these colors. Like I said, you need at least 3 to make this interesting. So for this tester, for the paper towel one, I'm just going to do this. Now notice, I'm not really going to squeeze out the color. You see the color there? You see this is black. However, you see how that looks like blue and all that type of stuff? That'll be important for us later. All right, so I'm just going to put a dot down. You see my dot? That's it. You're not squeezing color. I know how sometimes I like squeeze color. We are not squeezing color. Another dot. Believe it or not, that is enough for this activity. And then let's rock out some green for this. Okay. So that's way more. That's actually kind of perfect. But anyways. So then, like I said, you're going to take you can use a turkey baster, which is bigger. Okay, so you want to be careful to make sure you don't put too much water down. Or you can use the pipette if you can get an adult family member to get this for you. And for my science teachers out there that are watching this, or for like my daycare mavens, right? I know y'all are there watching this video. This is, something that usually y'all will have some type of dropper thing, okay? And so you notice how this is an opportunity, okay, talking to the adults watching, right? This is an opportunity for the young people, whatever age. I did this with 2-year-olds last week. 2-year-olds. So they can try it. They might need your help, but let them try it, all right? So so this is an opportunity to work on your fine motor skills. So yes, picking up the pipette, and I'm just dropping. Again, you see how I need very little water. I'm going to drop this down. Okay. Very, very little water. It's a really fun project, and it's kind of a little meditative, a little bit. But you just add drops wherever you want to add your drops. And the color, just to be clear for the science of this, the color is separating into its components. It's not changing color. It's not becoming a different color. What is happening is that the paper towel and the water are working together to help separate the colors into their components, okay? So you might kind of notice here how we have a little pink over there by the orange, okay? That's because orange is made out of reds and yellows, right? You see how there's blue on the outline with the green? And then we have some blue that we were noticing that's in the black, right? Black is actually really some very, very concentrated greens and blues. Okay, so anywho, that's that. Let's go ahead and move on to the actual coffee filter, because this is Science with Ms. Steph. We're doing a pop-up and we're doing rainbow coffee filters. So you see how you could use the paper towel if you don't have coffee filter. And let's see what it would look like on the coffee filter. Okay, I'm going to flatten this out. This is a fun little step that you can do, which is flattening it out. And remember, you want 3 to 5 coffee filters. I'm going to separate them because coffee filters are very thin. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take 3. I'm going to leave some to the side for another little part that we can do. All right. And we notice we get a little practice with our shapes, right? What shape is this? For my little ones, what shape is this? What shape do you see? And also, what shape do you see here? Okay, what shape is my tray? Okay. All of those things. Science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, STEAM, folks. All right, so I'm going to tilt you down just a little bit more so we can finish this project up. All right, and you can tell that this is an activity that happens pretty quickly, right? Some of my other activities, it takes a little bit longer, but this one is pretty fast. Okay, so I'm going to dab some of the color. Some of the color is coming off on the top. Okay, there we go. This is sienna. I'm going to just go around the circle. Here's my brown. I actually want to do green. Let's do the black next. Okay. Going around in a circle. You don't have to do this. You can go around in your own way, right? But I'm choosing to go in a circle, right? You might be hearing some noise, but we all know Ms. Steph lives in kind of a loud place, New York City. And so we don't let that noise bother our science fun, right? And then the orange. Again, I went around in a circle. You don't have to go exactly around in a circle. You notice that there's some other drops laying on the side. That is not going to bother our investigation. This is not an experiment because we don't have the components for it to be an experiment, but it is most definitely an investigation. We're learning about how water changes what happens with the food coloring. Or another way we could say this, right, is we're learning what will happen if we add food coloring and water to a coffee filter. Remember this activity? I've named it rainbow coffee filters. Okay, so we have our coffee filter and our water and our food coloring, and now I'm putting down the water. This is regular water. For those who might be older and have adult permission, you can try other clear liquids, and then that would be more of an experiment, right? To try this, the same color, the same amount of coffee filters, okay, but then different liquids, and see the results of that. All right, so I'm going to try by putting it in the middle. Put this in the middle. And you notice I can put quite a bit of water. Okay. Uh-oh. Things are happening. Things are happening. And notice I put the water in the middle. But things are happening with the color, even though that's not where I put the water. All right, let's find out what happens when I put the color directly onto, the water directly onto the color. Very fun and exciting. And I can turn my tray if I want to. I don't really have to, but I can if I want to. I'm putting this on top of the green. Now, let's see what happens with the black. The water directly on top. Does anyone have any ideas as far as why this is working? Or what's really happening as far as it working? What does that mean, right? What's happening? Do you see this? And I'm going to continue adding water to my little heart's content. I can add as much water as I want because I'm on an appropriate surface for this activity. And you can see I can push this down a little bit more. And this part of it is still dry. Okay. You could also experiment. Again, that would be an experiment. Not everything is an experiment. Just because you're learning science doesn't mean you're doing an experiment. But an experiment could be how much water specific coffee filters can absorb, how quickly it absorbs and spreads the water out. That can be an experiment. You can measure that. That would be a fun little science experiment to do, right? And you see how much water I put down just now. And also you should be able to start to notice that the red from our brown is coming out. There's always red and brown, by the way. And then we have our orange. You see our green is starting to kind of move and get everywhere. The blue that we already found out was in our black in our previous investigation. And then you see there's some blue in the brown as well. Aha, isn't that cool? And the blue is coming out on the edges. Amazing. All right, so our very last thing that we're going to do second to last thing. Let's do second to last thing. And let's get ready to finish up. You can investigate, experiment with, right? Adding another coffee filter on top and finding out what happens if I put another one on top of the color. Let's see. Do you see that? Do you see the color coming through? Okay. The color coming through onto that next coffee filter. All right. Because the color has mixed with the water and the water is easily absorbed into the coffee filter. It's part of the function of coffee filters. So if I pick this up, the color and some of the water has been transferred, right? Now, let's put this to the side. I wonder what would happen if I put this down and left this here and then started to drop some water. Don't you think that that would be fun for us to find out? If I added more water to it, if I could get more color onto that top layer by adding more water and by gently kind of pressing it down. Do you see the transfer that I'm getting? Very, very fun. Very, very fun. Very, very fun. All right, and pressing it down. And look, I'm also getting this effect of them sticking together. Do you see all the different things that we're getting to learn with this particular exploration adventure right now? All right, so I'm going to put that slightly to the side. Then I'm going to write my name and the date. This is where I can keep my coffee filter. All right, Steph. Right, let's write the date. And let's write my title, Rainbow Coffee Filter. Right? So I have that there on my paper. I'm writing in pencil. I'm not using anything with any ink because the water would spread onto the paper and impact that. All right, so notice, so I'm going to gently pick this up. Okay, I'll show it to you, right? And then I'm going to put it onto my piece of paper. You might want to do that yourself, or you might want an adult to help you with that. Okay. Gently dab. And then, of course, another part of the investigation will see whether or not this dries, how quickly it dries, what it looks like after it dries. Do you see the layers and layers and layers of scientific exploration and learning just from those few materials? I have a coffee filter, food coloring, water, a cup, pipette or an alternative, and my tray. You see how all the mess is in my tray. So I get to get messy, but I don't mess up my table. All right, and you see then I have essentially my lab report, something to show what I did. And it looks a little bit artistic as well. Thank you so much for joining me for Rainbow Coffee Filters on Science with Ms. Steph. I look forward to having you join me sometime later. Okay, and make sure that you keep an eye on our Instagram and Facebook and all types of things to make sure that you stay up to date and know what's going on with us. Bye-bye. See you next time.